have not put up yet. So you're probably going to hear dates, and the dates are going to have passed already. But I've been really busy, and so today my cast have an MRI. So we're going to go off, and we're going to go do that and see what they're going to do with his shoulder. He got hurt pretty bad. I'm hoping he doesn't need surgery. This is the second MRI, so we'll see how this goes. But anyhow, that's what we're doing today. So I get to drive, and anybody that knows me knows that I hate driving in winter, but it is blowing out that window. The snow is just blowing everywhere, but I know how to drive in it. I just don't like to drive in it. So that's where we're off to today. And last night I planned a tea party, so I'll have to tell you about that somewhere in this video. They've taken Mike back in to do his MRI, and they wouldn't let me go with him, and that's understandable, but they gave him the medicine that was supposed to relax his nerves, and because an MRI is kind of a rattling thing to go through, and unfortunately they gave him the same thing they gave him last time, and it didn't work. It didn't affect him at all, and so I'm hoping that this goes well. I'm hoping that we don't have to redo this the hard way, which means taking him to the hospital and knocking him out. So anyhow, the snow's finally starting to calm down. I drove here in really blizzardy conditions, and I think it's actually warming up because these snowflakes are actually turning into little rain droplets. But it's like a mix between rain and snow. It's kind of weird, but it's a really pretty place. We actually have a beautiful hospital complex here, so I'll turn this around and show you. So anyhow, we are here at the hospital, and I don't know if you can see it, but the trees along the street are lit up. There's purple, green, white, red. It's kind of hard to see with the snow coming down, but this is part of our hospital. You can only see this side of it, but on the other side of it is another massive complex. There's multiple buildings that line this side of the street. So it's like we're here, but it's like there, and then you go around that corner and there's a whole bunch more buildings, and this is basically one great big medical complex. But Mike's back doing his MRI. The weather's calmed down, and it's kind of turned into, snow is starting to kind of turn into wet, and the flakes are getting smaller. So I'm not sure what that means, but in Alaska, if you have big flakes, the flakes will generally melt off, but the smaller the flakes are, it means that they're probably going to stick around a little longer. I know that doesn't make any sense, but I just love those trees. I wish I could like light up all the trees in my yard, especially the purple ones. I like the purple ones. I wish you could see them a little better, but they're kind of hard to see. You can see on, there you go. There's the purple one. I like that one. But they're trying to get the streets cleaned up, and our emergency department, and those red lights you see over there in the distance, kind of hard to see them. There they are. Well, sort of. Anyhow, that's where our helicopter lands. We have a medevac system here, and so we have a medical helicopter that lands there and takes patients to Anchorage. So it's kind of hard to see under all the snow, but there it is. But hopefully Mike will come out of this MRI just fine. And he doesn't really like the MRI. He's kind of claustrophobic, so they gave him something to help calm him down. But the problem is they gave him the same thing they gave him last time, which didn't work, and he told the doctor that it didn't work. So hopefully he can get through this one. This MRI machine is much larger than the last one, so I will be so glad when these trees all turn green again, because I have had my fill of this snow. So we made it back to our house, and I am tromping through snow and trying not to fall on my butt while carrying groceries. That's okay. But it's so pretty. But I'm going to have to take a shovel to my front door because we're supposed to get 10 inches of snow. And you can see my feet are completely buried in snow trying to get back to my house. Ugh. This is almost up over my boots, right in front of my front door. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna have to shovel. There's snow on the doorknob and ice all the way up the door and down the walls of my... But man, look at that. Isn't that just the prettiest thing ever? Those snowflakes are just coming down. But yeah, having to walk through that just to bring groceries into the house is a little bit nuts. But it's gorgeous. I'm back in the house. Got up to the front door. And I realized the door was locked and I didn't have the key to unlock the front door. So I had to walk all the way around the back of the house to come into the downstairs door. And then come back up through the house to the top floor to get the groceries into the kitchen. Our kitchen's on the top floor. But yeah, that was an adventure. And the snow is almost to the top of my boots. And these are some pretty tall boots, but it's been an adventure today. And now at some point I have to go get a shovel and shovel that snow. Holy cow. Welcome to winter in Alaska. So do you remember when I told you I was working on a project where I was making a sewing project, a cloak that I had wanted to make? So, well, my sample finally came in and it took quite a while to get it. I actually had to have a friend in another city go to the store that had the fabric I wanted, get me a sample of it, which is right here. This is called, you can't really see it, it's called Premier Velvet, and it's like liquidy and flowy and soft, and it's just really pretty. But so now I'm trying to measure, because the fabric is, it said 44 inches wide, but then it's got this bias on it that's a full inch wide. You can see it here. That bias is a full selvage edge, is a full inch wide. And so it means that the fabric itself is only 42 inches wide. So I had to take my pattern pieces out and measure them, and it barely, and I mean barely, fits. Okay, so real quickly before the battery dies on this camera, I'm planning a surprise tea party for the ladies at my church, because you always go and you hear them at our ladies Bible study and stuff like that, and they're talking about, oh, wouldn't it be fun to have a tea party or this, that, and of course that's the one thing that I'm really good at is tea parties. I have all the equipment necessary, all the china, everything to pull off a rather stunning tea party. So I was trying to figure out how to have a tea party and surprise them. So last night, I wrote down all the plans for it. You can kind of really see it. And then the grocery list and everything that I wanted to serve and what I wanted to do. But a friend of mine, Rhonda, got me this awesome book, and it's got tons of recipes in it for afternoon tea. I love this book. It's got so much really good stuff in it. And then my husband found this for me. It's the Downton Abbey afternoon tea cookbook, and it's got some really great stuff in it, and it's beautiful pictures and stuff. But just kind of, and it's fully illustrated. It's got pictures of some of the actors and stuff in it, and yeah, it's just a really great book. This one's the same way, just illustrations all throughout, and it's a great book. So I was going to try to surprise the ladies at my church with a tea party, but trying to keep that under wraps because I want to do it on a Saturday. See, I'm teaching this Saturday, but they come on Saturday expecting a women's Bible study. Sometimes they come early, so I don't know how I'm going to pull this off to make sure that they're all there, because not all the ladies come, but I want all the ladies to come. So I'm going to handwrite invitations to all of them. I'm going to try to convince them to come and just tell them that it's really important. I don't know how I'm going to word this or how I'm going to make it happen, but I will find a way to get all of my ladies there. And that's my mirror that's putting a funny light on there. But that's the plan, and I'm hoping that if we can pull this off, it will allow some of our ladies to kind of get to know each other better. I'm going to invite a couple of ladies from outside the church. One of them is a pastor of another church, and one of them is a pastor's wife of yet another church in the area.
So I'm trying to make all this happen. I want it to be successful, and being a pastor and a pastor's wife at the same time is complex. Can be a chore sometimes, but the point is for my part is to pull our church together. I'm also the worship leader at my church, as you already know, and so I still, while I'm doing this, I have to teach this weekend. I've already written my sermon, and I have to lead worship, so I have to pick all the music and practice playing that. So this is going to be, the next 72 hours is going to be crazy busy for me. And in all of that, I have to figure out how to word these invitations, because on Monday, I want to be able to send all of the invitations out, but I've got to word it in such a way that they're expecting to come to a women's Bible study, but it's going to be a lot more than that. And then getting everybody to come, to include people who don't normally come. I'll figure this out. I will figure this out. But anyhow, I got my fabric measured. Mike didn't get through his MRI. The medication that was meant to calm him down didn't work. It's supposed to help, but a lot of medications don't work on him. It's almost like his body has some kind of an immunity to it. So they have a really hard time. The last MRI, they had to knock him out cold to get him through it. He's kind of a big guy, and those machines are small, and he's severely claustrophobic. And that's really common for a lot of people. They cannot handle being in those machines. It just freaks them out. And it causes, responses that you can't control. There are people that have full-blown panic attacks from those machines. So they'll get through it. They want to look at the shoulder again, and they're trying to figure out, because he got hurt at work, and they're trying to figure it out. And aside from that, he's doing really good. Right now he's outside with a couple of the guys and hanging out there with them and plowing snow, and we got our driveway plowed just now, so that's nice. And I shoveled off the front walk, but there was no way I was going to go out there and shovel off that whole driveway. It wasn't going to happen. I don't mind the walk. I could do that, but the whole driveway, forget that noise. But anyhow, it's all good. And so that's been my day today. And now I'm going to watch, one of the things I'm doing is I love history bounding. And I think I talked about what that was. But I'm going to do some more research, and I'm going to write down the measurements and stuff that I'm going to need, how much of each fabric, and plan out my cloak project, because it's being done with really exquisitely expensive fabric. And the only reason that I'm able to do that, I'm not well off, but it's because my family got together for Christmas and they gifted me the money in the form of gift cards for a Joann fabric, so that I could do this, so I could have the fabrics. To be able to pull off my dream cloak. Every artist has this dream thing they want to do, and this is mine. I want to make this cloak, and I know that by the time I'm done, it's going to be disgracefully expensive. But it'll be one of the most amazing things I've done. I've made wedding dresses and all. I mean, if you can dream it up, I can make it. But I've always wanted to make this cloak. I saw one in a window a couple of decades ago, and the price tag about made me fall over when I realized what it was made out of, and that it was hand done, and all of everything that went into it. It took multiple hours to make this thing, and the fabric again was of the highest quality. So it's been my dream to make a similar cloak to it. I've got my own design and twist, and so I need to write a list of everything I need now that I've taken measurements and all of that, and I've gotten samples back, so I know exactly what fabrics I want, and I know what those fabrics cost, how wide they are, how much I'll need, because you can read the package on a pattern. Don't ever believe the measurements. Lay it out yourself, cut it out yourself, measure it yourself, and you determine how much yardage you need, and always buy an extra yard, because you never know. You never know. So anyhow, that'll be an ongoing progress, and hopefully I'll get to complete that sometime in the next few months. So I got to write down what I need, and then the lady in Soldotna at the store said that if I just bring in a list of everything I need and the item numbers, that she would order everything in one fell swoop for me. So the one thing I have to do is I can't get black brocade, plain black, all black. What I can get is like black with like colorful embroidery and stuff on it, but what I need is just plain black. So what I'm going to try to do is get a sample of a brocade, maybe with a black background, and then there's a dye that you can get. So I'm going to see if the brocade is dyeable, and then I'm going to test that fabric to see how much damage and how much abuse that it can take before I spend money on multiple yards of it. So I don't know, it'll be fun, and I'm looking forward to doing the project. So, but as far as the next 72 hours go, I have my hands full. So,
you've heard people use the expression, I just can't even, right? I just can't even. If you saw me get ready for my day and put my hat on, my scarf on, and get ready to walk out the door, and I'm supposed to be in Anilchik right now, and I'm supposed to be doing music practice, and I'm supposed to be picking out songs and working on a sermon and getting ready to do a lesson and do all of these things. And let's see, about roughly, let's see, what time is it? About 5 hours has passed. And I've been in Anilchik. But before I got there, my son called and said that he was COVID positive. He was at the parsonage, what meant I couldn't go to the parsonage. I couldn't spend the night and spend my weekend there. I couldn't be around him. And on top of that, we had to be COVID tested. So I'm still awaiting results because I was exposed to my son. So Mike and I both had to be tested. So then we had to call the board, tell them that we're in quarantine, that we can't be around people. So we call, I have people that can play music. If I can't be there, that's great. But there was nobody to preach. So here's what happened. We call the board. We find out that 3 members of our board are sick. They can't be there. One of our board members actually has COVID. So there's 2 people that have COVID. And in total, we found out today that 6 members of our church are sick. And that's just the ones we're aware of. And 2 of them definitely have COVID. One of them is at risk for it because she's the partner of one of them. And so yeah, we had to, because of the vast amount of illness in our church this week, had to literally cancel church to keep everybody safe because of the elderly age median in our church. So instead of being where I'm supposed to be doing what I'm supposed to be doing, I'm back home and now I'm in quarantine. And I'm just like, are you for real? You're on the right path when all hell is breaking loose. And both Mike and I had a feeling this morning that something was just off. We didn't know what. But my son called and said he wasn't feeling good. And so I told him, I said, you need to go and get tested because there's a clinic right around the corner. And so he went and got tested, said he tested positive. So we found out that basically half of our congregation is either sick or has been exposed to the sickness. So the best and safest thing for us to do is to shut the church for an entire week, keep everybody out of it, keep everybody away from everybody, so that whatever this is can run its course. But yeah, my weekend didn't go the way it was planned. I mean, it gives me time to do other things, but I just feel like this is the 3rd Sunday this month that I have not been able to be there because I was sick with some other virus 2 weeks ago. I don't feel sick. I feel fine, but I'm just frustrated. I feel like I'm letting my congregation down, and I know that that's all in my head. They get it. It was actually one of our board members' ideas to close the church because of the level of illness. But yeah. So we put on masks, and we stopped and we got a couple things for dinner and left as quickly as we could, and now we are in quarantine, and we're going to stay this way until our test results come back and tell us that we're not sick. I don't feel sick, but we were in direct contact with my son. Obviously, I'm his mother. Even though he is an adult, he still lives part-time at home and part-time in Anilchik. He's going to school out there. But we were exposed to him, and we don't know how long his exposure was. We just know that he's not feeling so great right now, and he's quarantined at the parsonage by himself. So anyhow, we drove up there anyway. We brought him some food. We brought some medicine to one of our church members that needed some, so we went and got her some medicine. But I just feel like I've let down some of my ladies because they found out we had to cancel ladies meeting tomorrow, and they were disappointed, and I hate disappointing people. And I had a sermon set. I was ready to go. It was going to be great. We picked out music. It was going to be great. And then this. So I'm guessing that we're on the right path and we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, because Satan is trying like absolute merry hell to level us as a ministry family. So it's not going to happen. It's not. We're going to keep going. We're going to get through this. So that's where I'm at. My day didn't go as planned, but and the roads were really bad too, so we had to drive slow up there and slow back. We got about 10 inches of snow. Some of you saw in the footage, but then our driveway's since been plowed out. While we were gone, a friend came and plowed out our driveway, so that was really cool. but that's been today, and hopefully tomorrow will be better. So for now, I'll get back with you on the next.